Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. A very good morning to you. Happy Suna's Day, or Happy Soul's Day if you prefer that form of her name. I actually prefer referring to her as Suna because I just think it sounds prettier and it's a bit more feminine. So anyway, hail Suna the Brilliant. And of course, let's take today to honor all solar deities that we happen to connect with because this is their day. Let's get on with the forecast and what's going on astrologically. So the sun is in Pisces. As a reminder, that is a mutable water sign, and its keyword is compassion. The moon is in fourth quarter Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign, and it represents optimism. Mercury is in Pisces, mutable water, representing creativity. Venus is in Aquarius, fixed air, intellectual. Mars, Aquarius, fixed air, staid. Jupiter, Taurus, fixed earth, practical. Saturn, Pisces, mutable water, nostalgia. Uranus, it's in the sign of Taurus, fixed earth, renovation. Neptune's in Pisces, mutable water, imaginative. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, and it's all about reformation. So we do have a bit of an appropriately bright and sunshiny outlook for today's forecast. Lots going on. I know that for a lot of people, Sundays are the days where they just kind of get out all their stuff together so they're ready to tackle the next week. Lots of house cleaning going on today. People also washing their cars, mowing the lawns, getting the groceries done, just doing a lot of preparation. But also let this be a time of rejoicing, particularly if you happen to experience really good weather today. If that sun is shining, if you're just feeling just a little bit more uplifted because we're starting to move away from winter, we're getting into more comfortable temperatures. We're looking forward to the flowers and the other plants arriving. Draw upon that because the more of that energy you absorb today, the easier it will be for you to face Monday, which, let's face it, Monday's got a bad reputation for a reason. So definitely build yourself up today. So the moon phase still waning. So meditation, balancing, banishing things of all sorts. This is about getting rid of the icky. Whatever you are needing to do to bring yourself back into order, to bring your home back into order, or even get your spiritual practice back into order. Getting rid of things that do not belong. This is the moon phase to get that done at. So again, we do have the Sagittarius moon. So think teaching, philosophical conversations, hiking, other physical activities. This is actually a great opportunity for a lot of that get it done type of energy. And then, of course, avoid the cramped spaces, unsolicited advice, both the giving and receiving, and pointless argumentation. Just not the time. There will be other opportunities for that, just probably not while the moon is in Sagittarius. So, of course, Sunday is the day of the sun. And because the sun is in Pisces, that is opening up the floodgates of creativity, lots of possibilities, and a desire to flow with the chaos to see what happens. It's really getting into with that life force, which, of course, chaos is essentially when it's in its productive phase. It is the life force. It's not about breaking down. It's about seeing what we can do with all of these wonderful ingredients and energies at our disposal. So this is an ideal time to explore avenues of your spirituality that have yet to receive your full attention, because we all have a to-do list of things, I will study this once I get the time. Maybe get your feet wet with one of those things on your list today, just as an idea. Now, today, our tarot card. We have the Seven of Cups. And again, in this particular deck, the number 7 is associated with illusions, both internal and external. The Suit of Cups, think water, receptive energy, and emotion. And the keywords of this card, which I think the visuals do a pretty good job illustrating, are disorganization, having excessive options, and of course, delusions, usually delusions of grandeur. We can't do everything all at once, can we? And I think that's one thing that the Seven of Cups really does convey to us. We can't do everything all at once. We can't be all things at all times to all people. That just is not a realistic thing to be. Even people who are very eclectic and they like to, collect little bits and tiny bits of information about as much as possible, they still can't do it all. They still can't do everything. And they certainly can't a meaningful understanding of everything. And I think the Seven of Cups is a good reminder of that to us, particularly since we have access to the internet and all of the various avenues of information we could be exploring. It's too much. It is just too much. We can't take on all of that information. We certainly can't digest it all, and we certainly can't then decide how to make use of it. So a good way to go forward, I think, is to embrace a little bit more focus. To ask yourself, what's really a priority? What matters to me right now? And sometimes satisfying your curiosity absolutely is a priority. But don't be using your curiosity as an excuse to allow distractions to creep into your life and to prevent you from doing what you ought to be doing and what you really want to be doing. Distractions can be very dangerous this way. And of course, the Seven of Cups, it's showing all the things we can be distracted by. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. Next, we have today's Celtic triad, and it reads Three companions on the high road to union with the void: a patient poor person, a reflective wise person, and a tolerant reformer. So, patient poverty, what I take from that is this idea of make do and mend. We live in a very materialistic society. And truthfully, not everyone is cut out to do what it takes to become a millionaire. And a lot of people don't necessarily want to be outrageously wealthy. A lot of the concern with wealth and material success, it comes from the concerns we have about, our economy, which is not in a particularly good condition. And a lot of people are afraid that if they do not focus all of their energies on trying to become rich, then they are just going to get poor, get washed out, have terrible consequences. And it's easy to understand why people fall into that line of thinking. So, regardless of our financial situation, I think exercising a little bit more frugality, not necessarily going out buying new things, but making do, mending, being satisfied with what we have, making the most of the resources at our disposal, and not comparing ourselves with the Joneses so much, not being measuring our own personal self-worth by what other people appear to own and appear to have. So much of what we see on social media with these influencers, with what they have, a lot of it is illusion, a lot of it is flat out lying. So why are we comparing ourselves? So if you're doing that, perhaps divorce yourself from, allow yourself to say, I don't really need to measure myself against these people, especially since they're not really real. Now, as far as a reflective, wise person, that put me in mind of someone who has self awareness, someone who exercises humility, and someone who has a more practical approach to life. I think the best definition of wisdom has to do with the intelligent application of knowledge, doing so effectively, knowing what actually works, and not pursuing that which doesn't. And then a tolerant reformer, that is someone who is advocating and implementing change without having to burn everything down, which we have quite a shortage of these days because we look at all the problems we're experiencing, and there are days when the burn it all down approach does seem to be the most sensible pathway forward. However, historical track record on going that route isn't entirely encouraging. So perhaps learning to be more of that tolerant reformer, learning to lead the way through example, learning to exhibit change without, necessarily preaching at people, that might get us more of the results that we want, even if we don't see the full fruition of our efforts in our lifetimes. Sow the seeds for that while we can. Now, today's intention is consecration because our color of the day is gold, and gold has a long history with the idea of consecration and blessings and spiritual purity, really. Now, the plant that I chose to go along with this is dragon's blood, which is a resin taken from the palm tree, and also the animal is the canary, which is consecration through song. I think that to singing, music, even dance, that's something we're not really incorporating as much into our rituals as what perhaps we could be. So perhaps this would be a good opportunity to make use of that. And if you don't have much of a singing voice, do not worry. Find a place where you can practice something on your own and just do your best. Sometimes it's better to get that E for effort than to neglect to do something entirely. And of course, if you're in a place where no one can hear you, then there's no one's ears to offend. Well, I mean, your own, maybe. But again, most of us are not as bad at things as what we actually think. And of course, this is singing for magical and ritualistic purposes, not really to get any kind of prize or recognition from other sources. And then the stone I chose for today was salt. We cannot talk about the subject of consecration without salt. So the question I want to leave you with this idea and this intention is, what can you bless and sanctify today? I mean, especially if you happen to follow a witchy or a Wiccan path. The Sunday, that is a day of the god, not just, particular solar deities, but, the god beyond the gods, the original pair, the god and the goddess, that particular god is what I'm referring to in this context. And so taking the opportunity for worshiping, taking the opportunity to use that solar energy to cleanse and to make holy, that's something that we can do that makes very good use of the energy of the day. It helps build us up. And again, it makes us a lot better prepared to deal with whatever Monday might happen to throw at us. Now, for pagan practice today, Sundays are great for performing house cleansing, banishing baneful energies within the home and that might be attached to members of the household and pets. And again, because the moon is in its waning phase, that's another reason why it would be good for us to tackle some banishing work. Make use of all of it. Spring is nearly upon us, so if you haven't already, maybe this is a good opportunity for you to freshen up the decor of your home. As you've been seeing in the past couple of videos, I've very much already moved my altar over to a more spring-like appearance. I actually did that at the end of February because I just got really down in the dumps and I needed something to uplift me. Now, you would think that, what I had before with the reds and the pinks and the whites, that would have been enough to, keep my spirits raised, but I was ready to move beyond those more Valentine colors, beyond the more wintry feel of everything, and move into the spring and the renewal and the new life, the pastels that I really enjoy this time of year. So whatever is giving you that spring feeling, I encourage you to bring that out into your home. And then, of course, prep for the week. And that includes even your spiritual prep. If you are living your daily practice, then there's going to be little things that you choose to do each single day. So make sure that you have set yourself up for success and that you have everything that you need in order to fulfill those things. A little preparation goes a really long way. Then maybe today you can make time to listen to music that is made by pagan artists. A lot of times I like to listen to this Viking streaming channel when I do the house cleaning. It certainly puts some pep in your step, especially depending upon what song happens to be playing. But it's just good to have in the background. And then, of course, study the solar deity of your choice, the sun with all of its magical and spiritual qualities, as well as what science has learned about our physical sun and all of the associated lore thereof. So, lastly, I give you a beautiful forest path with the sunlight bathing everything into it. I hope you've seen something equally pretty in your own environment today. And for the journal prompt, what have you kept hidden but now feel ready to bring into the light? I ask this not only because it's a Sunday, but also because we are emerging from the winter. We have been kept hidden in the dark. We have been in hibernation mode. So what are we now ready to bring into the open? What deserves its time in the sun? Think about it, write about it, and I hope it takes you to an interesting place. But that is the daily forecast for today. Let me know about your thoughts and impressions, reflections, where your own journeys have taken you in the comment section below. And I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.